Alright everyone, welcome to another video in our installment of the MS Guides series on our YouTube channel here. So essentially here's the deal. Right, the suit we're gonna go over today, as you can see highlighted here, is the Gundam Unit 4. This suit can cause a lot of personal issues if you don't manage your kit well. And we'll get into that more in the build video, but essentially I want to thank you guys all for the support on this series. It's been getting a lot of positive reviews, and I thank you guys for taking your time to look at what I think some suits should be built and played as, and I hope it helps you. Or you know, you take some ideas and you mix into your own build, and then you make your own build even better and better than mine. That's kind of what I'm shooting for with this series. So if that is the case and what's going on, thank you guys for a lot of support. But let's get into the video here. Gundam Unit 4. Alright, so the thing is with Unit 4, it's got a big secondary weapon that is really fun to use. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I use it a lot. I open with it, and whenever it's off cooldown, I fall back and try and pick off a respawning enemy with it. Not the best idea to do, but the thing is, this is very fun. It can play very well as a general as long as you build it correctly. I've got it built pretty okay. The thing is with this suit is it's very squishy, even for a general, especially at 450 cost. It doesn't have a lot of fast stun options, so unless you use the bazooka, which you can't equip, but I don't use the bazooka. It's got a lot of range boost. It's got not a lot of melee boost in comparison, but yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. One thing you could do with this build before hopping into parts is you could take off the damage and put in a bunch of health parts. So that's another build. It's more tanky, less damage. But let's go into the build. The weapons available on the Gundam Unit 4 are the Hyper Beam Rifle and the Hyper Bazooka. So the Hyper Beam Rifle works exactly like the Gelgoog Beam Rifle in the sense of as long as you only use charge shots on the beam rifle, you should not overheat your rifle. It doesn't do as much damage, but it has the same concept and design. You have the Beam Saber further enhances your melee weapon. It has 2100 base damage. It has the same animations as the other Federation Beam Sabers. Don't have to worry about that. Its sub-weapon are head-mounted Vulcans. These do not stun, so don't worry about that. They're very good at finishing off enemies while you boost at them, which I do frequently. Then you got the big gun, which really screws a lot of people over, the Mega Beam Launcher. It's got a shit ton of damage. It has max range, and it's a charge-only weapon. So you have to charge it all the way, which takes about 15 seconds, 12-15 seconds, which is a long time to be sitting still, doing nothing, being unable to defend yourself before you could fire. And when you fire, you overheat. Now the thing is with this weapon is that when it's overheated, it takes forever to cool down. I'm talking like a minute, like a solid minute to 20 seconds in game to actually cool down. That is if you don't die. If you die, it completely resets, but it's a very big damage dealing gun with a huge risk and return. The risk is you either miss or you get staggered out of a long charge, and then you're screwed because either you have to sit still or you're overheated. The reward is if you do hit, you'll guaranteed do at least 45% of somebody's health without a question. So, there's a trade-off with this gun. The beam gun unit, which is the little spot gun on its arm, does okay damage. It stuns in about 4 shots. It can be expanded very easily. And it has the slide shield, which is a large shield with 3,500 health. For my build, I really focus on its weakest defense, which happens to be melee, because the suit plays it's statistically designed around a support with the general speed. So I just took the weakness of a support, which is melee defense, slapped on melee armor, and I just basically called it a day on that sense for defenses, and I put some health into it with damages. So my parts include level 3 anti-melee armor, level 1 and 4 enhanced firing program, levels 3 and 4 enhanced melee program for damage close range when my Mega Beam Launcher is no longer is on cooldown. And health parts, aka strength and frame, levels 1 and 5. As I said before, you can swap out the damage because the thing is, this suit has 35 base range boost without enhancements, so you really don't need the extra damage. You already got a ton of damage with this suit. So you could just replace the enhanced firing program levels 1 and 4 with more health, which in turn would mean you have more survivability on the field, especially in close range combat. I do that build with more of the bazookas playstyle, the blue zook, and then use the Mega Beam Launcher only on spawn and only if the enemies are dead and I have a firing position set up. The skills for this suit: emergency evasion control system, so dodge roll level 1, quick boost level 2, high performance balancer level 1, melee combo controller level 1, so it's got 2 swings for melee. High performance radar increases your radar's range from 300 meters to 400 meters. High performance scope allows you to zoom into your scope 5 times. Observational data link. So basically what this skill is enemy units captured on your radar have their health bar displayed for your teammates, which allows focus firing on lower health enemies a lot easier. For my hotkeys, I have focus mounted keyed. Oh my god, I've blanked out there. I have my Mega Beam Launcher keyed. I have my primary weapons keyed. I do not have the spot gun keyed, mostly because if I'm switched to the Mega Beam Launcher, is the next quick swap, so your weapon swap button to get to the beam gun. So I don't really worry about it, especially since you can't use the beam gun while boosting like you can the Vulcans and the Mega Beam Launcher. I want to be ready for it if I use it personally. But if you're not really worried about the Mega Beam Launcher, going for more of that tanky build, I would swap out the hotkey of the Mega Beam Launcher with the spot gun unit and have the Mega Beam Launcher unassigned. And the Mega Beam Launcher is keyed after your Beam Saber in your quick swaps. So keep that in mind. But yeah, no, this is how I build my Gundam Unit 4. So let's go into the practice range and we will talk about cooldowns, we'll talk about combos, we'll talk about the 2 different build styles and where they would be prevalent. And we'll talk about what you really need to look out for in the suit. So, I'll see you over in the practice range. Alright guys, welcome to the practice range. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the big gun. And why do I say we're going to start off with this when I said, it's a really risky war weapon? Well, it's good to get the timers out of the way. So we'll start charging this at 35 seconds. Now no, it says charge required, so the charge has to complete before we can fire. Charge will be ready at about 10 seconds. 10 seconds, charge is ready to go. I highly recommend you be crouched for the extra damage buff. Granted, it's minimal, but the thing is, it is a damage buff. Plus, your shield comes out in front of you and you give yourself less of a profile in case somebody tries to stun you out of your shot. So, this shot will over-penetrate the enemies. We're going to shoot at 14 minutes left, and when the timer resets at about 13 minutes, it should be ready to go again. As you can see, the beam shot over-penetrated the Gilga cannon and hit the Grandpa Gundam, destroying its shield. The impact visibly hits the building to the right, but it does not damage the Grandpa Gundam, because the shield takes priority and absorbs all damage for this suit. You want to avoid shields as hard as that may be with this weapon at all times. So, the main problem is that shields with suits, aka most generals, especially at this cost, are going to probably tank your shot. So you want to aim at raids and supports, which usually don't have shields. Or if they do, they're smaller shields or their hitboxes are bigger. Gelgooks are very susceptible to this weapon due to their large hitbox, and the fact that their shield really doesn't curve around most of their suit, and their shoulders are so wide. And their legs. I mean, look at how flared out their leg armor is. That's going to catch this cannon so much. So, the Mega Beam Launcher is almost completely recharged. We're about 3/4 away. It's been a minute and 10 seconds since we shot. So that's what I'm saying when this cooldown's so long. I don't have auxiliary generators on this, so it could be faster, but really, why would I focus the Mega Beam Launcher when I could just focus on close range combat? So this should be done in about a couple seconds. So it takes a minute 30 seconds for it to be completely recharged. So if you're trying to survive and outplay your opponents, you got a minute 30 seconds before your Mega Beam Launcher is ready to fire again. Now for the beam rifle. It's your standard beam rifle. It does okay damage. It stuns when fully charged. You know, your beam saber hits pretty good. I like this beam saber. I really do. One thing you get to be very careful for is you have 130 speed, but you only have 55 thruster space. One thing I would say you could build on the suit instead of melee damage would possibly be thrusters, because you already got a high damaging melee weapon. That way on the ground, you have a little bit more boost capability and more maneuverability. This suit does have space topography, so you know, it does get the extra bonus to fighting in space when it comes to thruster consumption. But as you see, we're just doing the typical general type combat here. Beam rifling into stun into 2 melees, you know, finishing off Vulcans, so on and so forth. But as you can see, as long as we're charging this beam rifle, we're not overheating. Even though it uses most of the beam rifle, we're able to just keep, you know, going around for combo, finishing off the combo. And, you know, by the time we're done, our beam rifle's ready to charge again, it won't overheat, and we call it a day on that one. So, the damage to the suit at long range, because it's made to be basically a hybrid support, is insane. You're going to destroy raids with your Mega Beam Launcher, as you could assume. Damage against this prototype Gundam is going to be insane, as you'll see. We'll probably do upwards of 8k damage to this suit, at least. So, you know, what I would suggest doing is if you have an enemy standing still and or just not moving, you're crouched. Proning doesn't give you more damage, but what does give you more damage is aiming, going into your scope. Doesn't matter how much you zoom in, just get into your scope. It gives you slightly more damage. And fire. As you see, that prototype Gundam basically got deleted. Aiming for an opponent's legs due to the large hitbox of that weapon is your best choice, mostly because a suit with broken legs is not going to run when you decide to come knocking after you shoot your Mega Beam Launcher with your melee and beam rifle. Now, if you want to be a more aggressive player with this suit, I would take away basically all its damages, put on health, thruster parts, and the bazooka. Yeah, you lose out of a lot of damage, but the thing is, you're tanky. You'll be able to sit there and brawl a lot better with general types, especially at 450 cost. Just one this dude. There we go. So your Vulcans won't stun. That leaves a spot gun. So the spot gun does very little damage in the sense of, you know, 250, about 244 to this grandpa. But it stuns pretty quickly. So you can spam it pretty quick. 4 shots as a stagger. It's staggered buildup, so you know it goes to armor, so just remember that. It's not an instant stun, so it won't be negated by maneuver armor or stun buildup resists. Well, instant stun resist, I should say. Trying to think here. So we went over Vulcans. They're just basic Vulcans. They don't do a lot of damage. They're really good at finishing off and attacking while thrusting in a certain direction. Your beam rifle operates the same as a Gilgug, as long as you can only use charge shots and you can land your combos. Mega Beam Launcher is powerful, but not so reliable. Use at your own risk kind of weapon. It does have an insane range, because just look, I'm able to aim at the far building, and it's within targeting range. Aiming down sights, you know, same deal. Spot gun, got a good stagger. Does incremental damage. Negates maneuver armor because it's stun buildup and not instant stun. And yeah. This is the Gundam Unit 4. If there's anything I missed in the God, at the end of the video I can't talk. But if there's anything I missed about the suit, or any suit you want to see in the future, let me know down in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. Support counts, guys. And especially lets me know which videos I'm doing better on, information-wise, and which videos I am doing poorly on. So, it's kind of a good choice of feedback for me, because I take a look every single day at my likes and dislike ratios and stuff like that for these videos. But yeah, also if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. There'll be more of these MS guides coming out in the future. And also we're going to do more map guides. We did Port Base Day, we're going to be doing Impact Site next. Impact Site, and after that we're going to be doing Space Fortress. So, keep those out, and keep an eye out for those. And yeah, this has been Deranged Power, aka Grandy Warrior, signing off.